Last night, a friend of mine asked me, do you think Darryl Sutter of the Calgary Flames is going to stick around? And I said, yeah. Like, this literally was a conversation I had about 12 hours ago where I was like, yeah, I feel personally like with the way Brad Treliving walked away from the organization because it was a mutual parting of the ways, that indicated to me that something with the Calgary Flames was wrong to the point that Treliving did not want to stick around. And speculation sort of went out there and said that that thing happened to be the organization's dedication and loyalty to Darryl Sutter. There was an obvious problem with the Calgary Flames this season, and Darryl Sutter was pretty much at the head of that. Sure, he won the Jack Adams last year. Sure, the team was really impressive last year. But this season, with his inability to adapt, his ego really pushing itself in the way that he talked about this team and the way that he played his players, plus all of the players' sentiments surrounding what the players thought about Sutter, it's honestly a lot more interesting to see how things went out, because today, sources told dailyfaceoff.com that the Flames are moving on from coach Darryl Sutter. His 2-year contract extension was set to kick in on July 1st. We also had ourselves some details about the money, because Pierre LeBrun tweeted this out. The Flames will indeed owe Sutter his 2-year extension, which kicks in next season. It pays him around $4 million a year. So, not only did Darryl Sutter get the can, but he's also going to get that $8 million spread over the next 2 years. So, I mean, good for him. But either way, when it comes to how the Calgary Flames season went this year, it was kind of a disaster when you just take a look at what the on-ice product had to offer. Not only did you have a lot of these top-tier players sort of decline in the biggest way possible. We had been talking about Jonathan Huberdeau this entire time. Hey, guess what? I think he broke the record for the biggest drop in points in the NHL's history. Something like that from one season to another season. The guy had 115 points last year. He had 60 fewer points this season. 6-0. That is one regular player's entire point production's worth of points. And Huberdeau went out there and removed that from his point production from last year. You also had Nazem Kadri having a little bit of a down year too, and realistically, with all the comments made by the players, talking about their entire perspective on the systems, and it was really obvious that they were all kind of ticked off with the way Sutter was handling this team, it kind of comes as no surprise that this was the right move to do. I'm just kind of surprised that this actually happened. Again, because of the Treliving thing, that's the entire idea why I was thrown off with the idea of the Flames moving on from Sutter. But alas, the right move has been made. And if you want to talk about replacements, the Flames haven't made any decisions on the next coach, Saravalli says, and it's likely the next GM will make that call. But many inside the organization believe the AHL Wranglers head coach Mitch Love is at the front of the line. And you know what? That's pretty interesting. Because if Mitch Love, the AHL Wranglers guy, is the new head coach of the Flames, maybe then you'll finally start to see some of those young guys get some minutes, and especially Matthew Phillips, actually be given an opportunity to succeed. Darryl Sutter was super allergic for some reason to giving young players an opportunity, and this is why I kind of talk about the ego too. You talk about the comments Darryl Sutter made towards Jakob Pelletier earlier this season, where the guy severely downplayed his rookie's presence in the NHL. A lot of people said it was kind of funny, but, you know, we made the video about it, and I said, yeah, that's not cool, dude. Like, don't go out there treating your rookies like that. Don't go out there demeaning your own players like that. Of course, there were some other things, too. The way Sutter talked about this team, you could see that the level of, I don't know if respect is the right word to use, but you could see that there was a differing sort of style that Sutter had compared to most other NHL coaches, where he wasn't the one who was going to give the most praises out there and be the most open to giving the Calgary Flames their props. He was a lot more hard-nosed. And this has been the style that Sutter has had for years, and we know that it's worked for him in several capacities. I mean, the Calgary Flames were good last season. Just last season it was okay. But once he loses a room, once this guy and his style is no longer in style, then it's so bad. It's such a disaster, and that's kind of what we're seeing here from the Calgary Flames, especially towards the end of the season. So The Flames moving on from Sutter, it's the right move for sure. It's just with the departure of Treliving, I'm really surprised to see it. Who knows now why Brad decided to leave or why there was a mutual parting of the ways here if it wasn't the organization's apparent loyalty to Darryl Sutter, because obviously everybody could see the problem. Everybody knew. It's just speculation arose that they were so committed to Sutter after Treliving left, because in a way, Treliving improved the team in the offseason. We said this the entire time, that yeah, the Calgary Flames are arguably better on paper today than they were with Tkachuk and Gaudreau and everybody else, because Huberdeau's a good player, Mackenzie Weegar's a good player, Kadri, great player. But they just couldn't get it done. And all these players sort of suffered the entire year when it comes to how they were able to proceed. So the comments saying that everybody was sort of frustrated with the way the team was being handled, frustration with the way the coaching staff would be doing their thing, of course that's going to get under the skin, and you gotta nip that in the bud when that's there. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Calgary Flames moving on from Darryl Sutter. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99, and bye.